My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast.
Stories.
It's Bread Week.
Oh, it's wonderful. Don't look at me.
That's all you got?
I'm leaving the puns to the experts.
Oh, it was a punny week this week.
It was hilariously funny.
Especially when they got to all
The
the...
people rose to the occasion.
Oh, lots of bun puns.
There was a lot of consensual bun touching.
You know, don't mean fun unless you've got bun puns. So let's
Devon and his buns. He was like the meat in the sandwich.
let's get into this,
Like
shall we?
Devon buns.
Devon's buns, yeah, apparently.
Yes.
So let's get into this. So before we even get into the episode, you know what sort of episode it's going to be?
When you've got Julia and what's his face?
Dan. How can you forget Dan?
Because my brain, ta-da! You're lucky I didn't rename him to Herbert.
You did rename Rochelle while we were recording.
Did I?
While we were watching it.
Did I call
You're like,
him?
look at Rachel's face. I'm like, who's Rachel?
I was just in the moment.
We'll come to that moment in a minute.
Yes.
But yeah, when they're laying on the ground making bun puns.
Yes.
That was the starting point. Although my only disappointment was they didn't really graduate from rise and buns.
No, he was having bread dreams though. Which
He was, apparently.
is the next step up from wet dreams.
So it goes wet dreams,
Yeah.
bread dreams,
Yes.
Neapolitan dreams.
That's right. Yes.
Perfect. So there's a hierarchy of dreams.
2 electric dreams.
Electric dreams, and then, of course, as we know, that's what dreams are made of.
Yes, and then field of dreams.
If you build it, they will come. So you also know what episode it's like when they're showing the little snippets of what's going to happen, and you get Timothy just looking at the camera going, so you know you're in a weird place in your life when you put mayo in a piping bag, but it's happened.
And here we are.
And poor Timothy tonight, he seemed to almost be a character out of The Walking Dead. He just seemed to be somewhat zombified by the concept of bread.
Aren't we all?
I felt so bad for him.
Maybe he's gluten intolerant, and they didn't mention on the show because he's like, I don't want to be that person.
That might be
I've got celiac.
that might be a thing. So
Okay, Timothy, there's good people in this world who have gluten intolerance. We're not any of them. We're just good people.
yeah, so we had a whole pile of interesting ways to approach the episode. So Sachin had the pressure, of course, of the Star Baker curse.
Yes. I don't think it's a curse. I just think it's, there's no cursing this year.
Megan tempted fate.
By saying,
I love bread.
oh.
I should do quite well. She didn't say it's my week,
No, thank God.
but I should do quite well at that.
Just danger zoning.
Devon, who said at one
zone.
point, I'm a bread guy, I nearly jumped through the screen.
Oh, Devon.
I nearly jumped through the screen. Now,
We know your, natural habitat is between 2 buns with tomato sauce on top.
yeah, again, for anyone, Devon is a wonderful, and I'll use the word wonderful quite incorrectly in my terms, but for other people, they love it, luncheon meat in Australia.
For children.
For children mostly.
And kids in their heart.
And kids in their heart.
And me.
Yeah. And then you've got Meng Ling, who tried what I thought originally. Now, this is the way my progress went with Meng Ling tonight. It started off where I thought Meng Ling was trying a reverse jinx.
I'm going to come second
I
last.
suck at bread. She basically opened by saying, I suck at bread. And never have I seen a contestant on any form of bake-off know as little about what was happening to them and around them.
She really was the Inspector Gadget of bread this week. She's just like, I don't know. I'm just going down here and putting my yeast in this flour and oh, look at that. Megan was her little penny.
Megan was Penny, and Andre has to be Brain.
Yes.
And so you've got Meng Ling as the Inspector Gadget of Bake Off, just sort of stumbling. I don't know what I'm doing. Like as we see in the first challenge, for example, where she's testing the bread with a skewer. And they come over and she's like, I'm going to test the bread with a skewer. And they come back to her and she's like, I'm doing it because that's what Megan's doing. Meng Ling was just watching everyone. I don't do bread. I don't know. So the first challenge was quick bread.
Yes.
Which wasn't really quick.
Or was Megan
enough.
Dr. Claw because she had the cats?
No.
I'm Dr. Claw because I've got cats.
There you go. You
All
can be
right,
Dr. Claw. Next time, Gadget.
Next time, Gadget. Next time.
Sorry, children out there who might now have nightmares.
It was a good show. Just go watch Inspector Gadget.
So quick bread. Now, the trick with the quick bread is yeast-free. Yeah. As we would learn later on...
It's the perfect representation of women and animals and how they're exploited by older white men. You see, Penny does all the hard work.
Are we still on Inspector Gadget? I thought you were talking about how quick bread was an example of the exploitation of women and animals by men. I'm just sitting there going, hang on a minute, how is quick bread an exploitation thing?
Penny is a child. She is a young woman, and she has to look after her incompetent, uncle.
I would argue
is paid.
No, I would argue instead that it is a sad statement and indictment on the amount of funding put into mental health and dementia in particular. He's clearly struggling with an illness, and she is clearly his carer. And Penny is doing everything she can to keep her Uncle Gadget, who thinks he's an inspector.
So you're saying it's like that place in, is it Switzerland or Sweden that has
the village.
A shopping mall? Yeah, the village
completely set up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Inspector Gadget's just a nurse unit manager.
And again, the claw and stuff like that, it's all what that actually is.
Is the other orderlies.
Yeah, well, it's actually the government coming in to try to sort of break them apart and put them in a cold home.
Gotcha, yes.
That's why Brain and Penny are working so hard to fix the
show
problem.
it works. Okay.
Anyway, quick breads.
Quick breads, yes.
So yeast free. We found out that was quite good for Anne Marie, who apparently loves the smell of yeast, we discovered.
She really is. She's smelling... I think she's taking Listen to Your Bakes to a new level by smelling everything.
Smell all your bakes. She was judging everything by smell.
Except it wasn't going so well. At first I'm like, oh my God, she's a werewolf. Then I realise that she's not really smelling it properly. And I'm like, likes the smell of yeast.
So Anne Marie made an Asiago and rosemary soda bread. And she said...
What is Asiago?
No idea.
It's like a hacienda. Asiago.
It's like a hacienda?
Hello, my name is Asiago. You killed my father, prepare to die. Here, in soda bread form. I'm just thinking...
it's cheese, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
I don't know.
No, that was me saying duh, because I know what Asiago is.
It's a cheese I don't know of.
So...
I'm so happy. There's more cheeses than I know of. This is amazing.
So, hooked on bread is what she said she was. She goes, I didn't really like bread, and now, after last year, I'm now hooked on bread. I'd like to know, is that the follow-up to Hooked on Phonics? Quite possibly Hooked on a Feeling?
I just want to know who in Newfoundland's, pushing bread on people. You got this lobster, eh? You wanna put it on a roll? Oh, a lobster roll, eh? You want to try it? Come on, try my roll.
That is a lovely Jamaican accent. The queen of accents, ladies and gentlemen, strikes again.
Thank you. You're welcome.
The queen of accents. Just boom. Just boom right
Here
through the middle of that.
Try the veal.
And I'd like to think, again, because it's hooked on bread, and again, hooked on phonics and hooked on a feeling, I like the idea that when she brings out the bread, she has to go, unga chaka, unga chaka.
It's unleavened.
It's unleavened.
I'm making some soda bread.
Nice. So, Timothy.
And something to spread on it.
So that's something we didn't mention. You had to make a spread to go with it.
Yes.
So Timothy made a jalapeno bread.
I think you'll find it's pronounced jalapeno.
Jalapeno bread with cheese and bacon spread on it. Now his
jalapeno.
It didn't, and we'll get to this in the judging, but it didn't rise as much. It was very full.
Jalapeno.
You right there?
Jalapeno. I'm just trying out two ways of pronouncing jalapeno.
Anyway, so the cheese and bacon spread that he came up with there, and again, it was like when he was talking about the quality of his bread. When he was talking about the quality of his bread and making his bread, what he actually had in front of him was just a pan full of bacon. And I was just there looking at it before they said about the fact that what he was making was the cheese and bacon spread. I'm watching him going, that's not how you make bread.
Look,
Timothy,
not with that attitude.
Timothy, I know you're not a big fan of bread, but just frying off bacon? I mean, are you hoping to distract them?
No, he has studied Bake Off and he's taken Robert's advice to heart.
When in doubt, throw some bacon at it. Because, as Robert, for those in Canada who haven't seen it, the last series of Great Australian Bake Off, Robert Harwood, our good friend and my podcast compadre,
Not on this one.
Not on
I'm
this
not
one.
Robert.
No, you're
if
not
I
Robert.
was, I wouldn't be here. I'd be baking like fucking phenomenal.
You would be. So Robert had a
being
challenge.
in love with my beautiful wife, Natasha.
So Robert, anyway, had
living in Western Australia.
So Robert had a challenge where he.
I wouldn't have a cat.
Anyway, he has one. It's sick all the time. So it's allergic to everything. So Robert's going to listen to this and go, "Oh my god, you're talking about my life non-stop on the podcast. Thank you for that."
You're welcome.
His address is no.
I was about to say, you can stalk him much.
And Robert had a challenge that didn't go very well when they came back to him. They went, "What happened?" And he went, "I panicked and threw bacon at it." One of the moments of the last series. So now Megan decided to one-up the jalapeno bread. She put a honey lager.
Yes.
So again, when in doubt,
booze it up.
So she had the jalapeno cheddar bread with a onion and bacon butter. Now at this point, the judges really got in and went, so you're not making your own butter. Now this is a situation that, as followers of the Great Australian Bake Off, we're not familiar with this.
Because there's always the Devondale. But you know what? It's because Canada doesn't have the beautiful buttery goodness that is the Devondale dairies.
Hashtag you ought to be congratulated. So
Ripperita.
people in Canada don't get that. And I don't care.
But it's hilarious.
To be honest with you, Canada, I'm stunned you get half the crap we talk about. Anyway, moving on. So, Devon. Now, Devon at one point made a comment where he's like, coconut oil, it's healthy-ish.
You know what's
I
really
love your
nice?
philosophy, Devon.
A friend of mine went sugar-free, right, which is really fucked. But good for her. However, she
No
made
judgment.
this amazing cocoa, like hot cocoa, because it was like cocoa powder, so it's not a hot chocolate, it's a hot cocoa, with coconut oil in it, and it tastes like a golden rough, so like coconutty, malty deliciousness. So
a golden rough.
golden rough is a small kind of disc-shaped chocolate you buy for about $1 now at your local shop, and it's got like coconut inside, like sticky coconut, covered in chocolate.
Yeah, it's round.
Delicious.
And, layered. So
Most underrated sweet in Australia. Get yourself a golden rough. What would you say is the most underrated sweet?
what is the most underrated sweet?
Not a polywaffle there.
No, not a polywaffle, although my family would completely disagree with that. They love polywaffles.
Now I know what they're getting for Christmas.
Yeah, well, you got
Spoiled for you, Glenda.
you got to find them. I mean, the polywaffles, not my family. We know where they are. But
That sounded really bad. We've just gone for a weekend away with them. What did you do? I said goodbye to them, and you did disappear while I was meeting our friend for coffee.
I would actually argue that the most underrated chocolate in Australia...
Glenda, are you alive? Just message me.
Most underrated chocolate in Australia, I was thinking Turkish Delight, but it's not. The most underrated chocolate in Australia is the Violet Crumble Bar. Because everybody goes crunchy, which is the other one. So a Violet Crumble / crunchy is basically, it's honeycomb covered in chocolate. That's it.
But what makes Violet Crumble superior to the crunchy is it's not like airy. Like the Violet Crumble is like dense, and it's the way it shatters that matters.
That's their slogan.
And that's their slogan, and it's true. It's just a superior.
Whereas the crunchy is so airy and like it's like you don't feel like you're eating it.
And it also like does this weird.
It sticks to your teeth.
It sticks to your teeth, but also burns the kind of gums.
What it actually ends up doing is it looks like you've gone out and it looks like you've gone out to like and got the covers
and given
put on
a
your
rim
teeth.
job to a honeycomb.
I was going to say
like a bee's.
I was just going to say it looks
nest.
like you've got like covers on your teeth.
What is the bee's nest called? A hive. It's like you're giving a rim job to a hive.
I was just going to say it's like you've gone out and got like the blingy sort of teeth things, not the
Oh,
grills.
you mean a grill?
Not
a bear
not a
grill.
rim job to a honey. Sadia made naan.
Hallelujah, Sadia.
Actually, Devon, we forgot to mention what he actually made.
Yeah,
Devon made a red velvet loaf, which was a beetroot loaf, and I don't need to say any more. Let's move on. Sadia.
Looked delicious. I liked your flavour profiles, Devon. I liked the colour. Chris also likes purple. He just hates beetroot.
Yes.
Which is
un-Australian.
So un-Australian.
Sadia made a naan. Now, she made a naan without yeast, and the judges seemed confused, and we seemed confused by the judges being confused.
Yes, because I'm like, I've seen this on MasterChef. They made a nice pita, nice little, which is similar to, I guess, this kind of bread in terms of how the naan is being used in this way or created in this way.
And I've had naan which has been yogurt based instead of yeast. And again, yogurt is the activator.
It's fantastic.
So Sachin. Now your accents are going all over the place again.
Oh, I'm across the Dutch. I'm in Kiwi land. I got an email from Lucy Lawless today via Greenpeace. Did you know she's on the Rainbow Warrior at the moment, trying to stop drilling in the Great Australian Bight? Fuck you, Australian government. You do so much shit. Stop drilling. Stop hurting the whales. Save the whales.
Are they drilling into whales?
Something like that.
She's so over the issues. She's all over the issues.
All I know is that Xena Warrior Princess
is on the Rainbow
sent me
Warrior.
an email today, and it was personalised. It said, "Hi, Kristie."
Personalised. So it wasn't a batch email.
It was in no way, shape, or form.
So Lucy Lawless, Xena the Warrior Princess, is out on the Rainbow Warrior right now, fighting against drilling, and she's stood around and going, you know what I need to do?
I need to email Kristie.
I need to email Kristie. I've never
she's
emailed
got
her
a
before.
podcast, and it's going to get out. It's going to reach the world. It's going to
from the Rainbow
span
Warrior?
the Commonwealth. From the Rainbow Warrior. Yep. And they'll be here in November, apparently. They're going to come across the Rainbow Warrior.
So it's going to be called Xena Rainbow Warrior Princess?
Is that true? Like, can you just jump on a boat and just end up anywhere in the world? Don't you need visas and shit?
Yeah, you do.
I guess the New Zealanders don't, because they can just come here to see a doctor whenever they like. Quite frankly, New Zealanders, if you're coming to Australia, just fucking head home. You've got Jacinta Ardern, you know, she's like breastfeeding in the government and telling the UN how to fucking run the world. Don't come to Australia. Yes?
I've just got the indicator on. I'm about to turn back to the episode.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've turned the vehicle and we've pulled into the driveway because we haven't even finished all of the bakers in the first challenge.
Okay, let's go.
So, Sachin made an apricot walnut bread with blue cheese. Now,
yes.
he talked about this being a very romantic thing, and there's nothing that I...
So?
Yeah, look, the flavour may be, but there's nothing that I think of that is...
Sachin. I like it.
There's nothing I can think of that's more romantic than hear my love, smell this.
If it's a good blue cheese, you got me. Like, you just don't like blue cheese.
So, this week on Mengling Gets Confused...
We love you so much, Wrigley.
We love you. We absolutely adore you, but... Okay, let's get into this. So she made cranberry chocolate and hazelnut bread, and the reason was my husband likes these flavours.
Yep.
They asked her about the cooking time, and she laughed, and went, I've got no idea. And then Dan came over to have the conversation, and this is where the line from last week came into it, where she said, my goal is to come second last, to which Dan said... Aim for the sky, people.
Yes, there we go. Shooting for the stars. If you happen to come close to the Earth's stratosphere, you've made it, really.
So, and Andre. Now, Andre was baking inside a Dutch oven. Yep.
Now you're cooking with gas.
Yep. So, again, I know that the Dutch oven...
How much fun would you have to get?
I know that the Dutch oven, of course, is the cooking implement. I'm not sure how much that part of the Dutch oven has actually reached overseas. To explain the Dutch oven, I will turn to our purveyor of all things high class and culture, Kristie.
Hello and welcome to Kristie's Culture Corner, where today it's KCC, not KKK, because I'm not doing that for alliteration purposes. Anyway, back to Kristie's Culture Corner, where I will explain the Dutch oven. It is basically a heavy casserole dish in which you can create a proper seal and get an even bake.
Not that one.
There's another kind of Dutch oven?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this.
Hello, let's go to Kristie's Crass Corner.
G'day! Welcome to Kristie's Crass Corner, and it's farts all around. Run right up the bracket there. We'll be carrying on today. So, get yourself a doona, get yourself a partner, preferably. Let a few rip, nice and smelly. Pop them under the doona. That's your partner, and you go, hey, cooking in the Dutch oven. There you go. Is that better?
It's not better, it's just more accurate.
Okay.
All right.
So we just thought Andre, the most refined, cultured person.
Cooking with a Dutch oven was spectacular.
Hilarious.
Now, more importantly, he made Russian blini, which is wow.
Oh,
and
wow.
far more importantly for Dan, who was so impressed by this idea, frozen vodka.
He's like, so we're getting that later? Yes. And Dan says it's just like...
The speed at which Dan checked.
Yes.
So, whatever, we're getting that this morning. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, something you forgot to add with Sadia's is that she's like...
No, I have it. It's
oh,
next.
You do?
It's
good.
next.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
This is why I'm dragging us back on target.
Okay, sorry.
I was only in the intros. So, thank you.
Keeping
So,
it eyebrow.
So Dan comes over to look at Sadia's and goes, wow, that's amazing. And she looks at him and goes, and I made an extra naan for you.
And he's like, oh, thank you.
Sadia has learned.
She's read the contract.
Now, again, as I said before, then Meng Ling decided to test her bread with a skewer, and her main reason, it turns out, was I saw Megan do it. Meng Ling was, again, we talked.
I'm surprised she didn't start tattooing herself.
We talked a lot.
Meng Ling, what are you doing with the skewer? I'm just giving myself a nose piercing.
Why? Well, I saw Megan. What I loved about it, though, was as we're watching the episode, Meng Ling more and more looked more like a cast member out of Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where they've walked into the scene and they don't know what the scene is, and they've just got to make it up as they go. And it was improv. And look, she improv well, it turns out.
She fucking nailed it.
Like, she nailed it, and she has zero idea how she did it.
Again, she's the Inspector Gadget. Although she's less Inspector Gadget and more like...
No, she's Inspector Gadget 100%.
Rowan, like Mr. Bean.
No, because Mr. Bean doesn't accidentally get things right.
Oh, yeah, he just...
Whereas Inspector Gadget always seems to come out at the end of the day. Now, Devon ran over and helped Timothy at the end too, was stressing about his, because they were wet, they weren't setting. He went over and helped.
She's the Homer Simpson. I'm glad that Frank Grimes isn't there. I'm Homer Simpson.
Go, Grimy. So Devon came over, and Meng Ling came over to help too, but it seemed more like she was giving moral support, because Devon was sort of helping him out, and Meng Ling just had a spatula in her hand, looking to, going... Help him, and just sort of standing back waving a spatula as time ran out.
She was trying to go Wingardium Leviosa.
That's exactly what Meng Ling was doing. We know Meng Ling, that's what she was after. So,
she's
Timothy,
a graduate from Hogwarts.
So, Timothy, they said the bread was over full, which is why it was flat.
Maybe she's Ilvermorny.
Possibly. The flavour was good, but it was overly salted when you put the spread on it. Anne Marie's, they said, had a great crust, but there was no depth of flavour and it needed more cheese. Which makes more sense now we know it was a cheese bread. Megan's looked good. It broke well. It looked really moist inside. It looked amazing. She did then make the butter, and it was excellent.
She creamed it.
Devon...
Creams the cream.
Devon's was heavy, which meant a heavy dough, and that was unfortunately too sweet. And not in a good way. Sachin's, they said, had a good crust, good rise, and really nice flavour. Meng Ling, the biggest issue they said was the weight of the dough. Now, again, with all of those things, now I can't believe it was a heavy dough. What are the odds? They said it stopped the rise, and the other problem was because Meng Ling's was so packed, the dough was wet. Sadia's, they said, was a really good job. The flavour was sensational, and Dan finished off by going, and by the way, I want that recipe.
Yes. For his private cook, in his like luxurious trailer out the back.
Before Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
So, and
Father, come, I have this amazing recipe.
So Andre, Dan's suddenly become the most fancy person.
Yeah. Yarquin is just, whipping us up some of Sadia's naan in the trailer. Come have a little nibble, Father.
That's exactly what Dan, the mistress, the mistress of the accent.
It's like you're there, just transporting you away. Anyway, back at the ranch.
Anyway, Andre, the bread had a good bounce. The flavour was amazing. And the spread that he made with it was amazing. Having a good bounce at a spread is also important in other areas of life, particularly if you have to have good buns with it too. We'll get to that in a moment. So, and I love the fact that Sadia referred to Bread Week as a battle between Sadia and Bread Week. And they've made friends. Well, didn't she make some friends? Well, anyway. She does. We'll get onto it. So, hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. 1 penny to a penny. Hot cross buns. No, that got sung in the... If you have no daughters, give them to your sons. 1 penny to a penny. Hot cross buns. Thank you for that. You're welcome. Hot cross buns, they had 2 hours and 30 minutes to do it. They needed to put an apricot glaze on them, which... I could take or leave that. Now, the hot cross bun. Let's talk about the hot cross bun, shall we? All right. First of all, in Australia, just so you know, hot cross buns hit the shelves on December 29th. Yeah, basically, Jesus has barely been birthed out of Mary, and suddenly, and we haven't even said farewell to the old year, and suddenly there's fucking hot cross buns everywhere. There's buns everywhere. Now, let's talk about the history of the hot cross bun, which I know you would like to do. I would, because everyone says, "Oh, they're Christian," and isn't it? Part of me is going, look, they've got a Muslim woman making hot cross buns. Well, sucked into all of you, they're actually pagan, because ancient Greece, there was some crossed cakes that were sold, but
according to some research, the Saxons, actually, the pagan Saxons, that is, created like these little hot cross buns to celebrate the beginning of spring and the equinox, which is now, and the goddess Easter, or Oster, or however you want to pronounce it. Which is what we've just had here in the Southern Hemisphere. So technically, it would be really great if Woolies and Coles would just stock up their hot cross buns now, a little early, but not too early, because fuck it, it's not even Halloween and we're getting Christmas decorations. So you may as well just leave everything out all year round. Us pagans will love it. Yeah.
So Mengling made them once recently, which was good for her, because at least she knew what she was...
Maybe she made them for Easter.
Possibly. That would maybe make sense. Devon said that he'd made them never. Now,
did you know you're not supposed to eat them? If you're a Christian, you shouldn't eat them unless it's actually Easter, because if you eat them on any other day, it's not good. And apparently they ward off evil spirits. Haven't tried it. I don't know if you throw it at them or if you just eat it, and then they're supposed to it's like garlic.
So what's your favourite type of hot cross bun?
Oh, all of them. I know you like the chocolate, but I don't mind the traditional sultana ones. Didn't like them when I was a kid. I'd eat around the sultanas because we didn't have the chocolate option back then. But I like them all. Toasted, some butter on top.
Yeah, but got to have butter. So Anne-Marie at this point revealed her love of the smell of yeast, which should have been a warning because Anne-Marie kept on talking about how that yeasty smell was wonderful. No.
And also, as a woman, a yeasty smell is never a good thing.
Anyway, so...
then you need to be heading down to your local pharmacy or, drinking some Yakult or putting it somewhere. Not necessarily in your top lips.
I can't see the episode anymore. It's
back at
so
the
far. It's so far in the rear vision mirror.
Just keep up with it. Come on, you fed me beautiful lasagna tonight. Really appreciate it. Who were we talking about? Devon?
No, we're not even close to there.
So I'm just looking at Mengling. She recently made them once. Recently, Devon has made them never. Okay. Anne-Marie, I love the smell of yeast. Yes, we were there. Now continue making buns. Remaining ingredients. There we go. Okay, go. I've read your notes. There we go. We're up to how evil Canadian Bake Off is. Yeah, nicest show on TV, nicest fucking country in the world. And what do we get? Friggin' goddamn sadomasochistic instructions for the technical.
So they got told they needed to just continue making buns using the remaining ingredients. So Sadia then at that point was trying to add the spices. Of course, they didn't tell her how many spices or what spices or which ones to add and when to do it.
She's where's the baby? Where's the posh?
So she's just adding spices blindly.
No, help, I'm what's it called? Ginger spice.
Devon at this point pointed out that more raisins were better than less. Disagree with you, Devon. Very much disagree with you. However, far more importantly, you know what is critical to the bun?
What?
Sugar.
Yes.
Devon. Sugar.
But his buns are sweet enough.
But turns out they weren't. Because turns out nobody ate the bloody things.
I wasn't talking about those buns.
Anyway.
Devon's got some sweet, sweet buns.
Anyway.
Have I said Devon's got sweet buns? Enough?
Anyway, I fear what I'm about
Devon.
I fear what I'm about to do because I don't know if I need to necessarily turn this episode further over to you at this point because we may never finish. But there was a new bird.
Yes, there was. There was a shot. It was a robin redbreast, and I'm pretty sure I was a Canadian twitcher in a past life. There we go.
The Great Canadian Twitch Off. So, Mengling then...
They heard my comments from last week. They went, got to get more stock footage. New bird. Out with the cardinal, in with the breast.
Mengling then decided that she needed to divide the dough up, and she's like, I'll use my calculator. Oh, I don't have one. Oh, no, I have to do some math.
I feel you, Mengling. That just fucking sucks. Because, remember when you're growing up and, this is the days before you were young. Like if you're under friggin' 28 now, you don't know what it's like. But when you're, evil maths teacher be like, you're not going to have a calculator on you all the time. And you're like, bitch, please, I've got a smartphone. Calculators ahoy. Poor Mengling. I just felt for her.
All right.
She obviously couldn't have her phone, so otherwise she'd be tweeting us from the pavilion. Keep going.
So Dan then starts with his bun puns.
Another man with sweet buns.
I hope we're having fun with our buns. Now, I'd like to know how would Devon's students go with putting the cross on the buns as the class task? Because it looked like the crafts section. So it looked like something you do as busy work at the end of a lesson. Now, put the crosses on the buns, everybody. Anne-Marie was once again judging by smell, talking about the yeasty smell. Again, should have been a warning to everybody else that there was a problem with Anne-Marie's buns. Megan then stepped in and helped Mengling, as we said, so again, Penny steps in and helps Gadget. And then when they talked about bring your buns to the front, and then in the voiceover, Julia in her best sort of clear voice is like, they'll have no idea whose buns they're judging. It was just incredible.
It's a blind bun judging.
So
I reckon they do that down at the Dirty Dicks or something.
So Anne-Marie.
I guess like a strip joint wouldn't be called Dirty Dicks because that's... It'd be called Fun Buns. This is the place you need your bouncy buns. I'm talking about the hot cross buns. I'm not talking about fun buns anymore.
So Anne-Marie, yes. They said that they were very underbaked and very overproofed. Well done. And interestingly enough, you know what the main bit of feedback they gave her was?
What?
They smell yeasty. So poor Anne-Marie, who all the way through was talking about that yeasty smell was good. No, not really. Not really. Timothy...
Look, maybe because she lives in Newfoundland, which is just covered in seafood. Like, I just imagine that you wake up and there's just crabs and lobsters and shit everywhere, right? And
I like the idea of waking up and there's just seafood laying on you.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, hello, Mr. Crab. And he's like making crab clicking noises because I don't know what crabs sound like.
You missed the chance to do a Sebastian joke. Anyway, move on.
Anyway, under the sea. Anyway, so it smells really briny and very maritime-y, as Julie will say later on. So it's very maritime-y. So maybe the bread smell has to be extra pungent to break through the maritime-y, briny smell. Back at the ranch, come on.
So Timothy's was a bit wet, but it was a good bake overall, they said, which was good. Sachin's were light and fluffy, but they needed 5 more minutes of baking. They also said that he needed more fruit. Mengling's, amazingly enough, had great colour, good flavour, and a great cross.
Number 2.
I don't know how she did that. Devon, they said multiple challenges. It was over-kneaded, it was too much like a scone, and then Rochelle refused to eat it.
Heartbreak.
Megan's were fluffy with a nice bounce back, but they said they needed a bit more spice in there. Andre, the colour was good and the proofing was perfect and they tasted amazing. Of course, it's Andre. Sadia's, they said the proofing was good and more fruit and spice needed. So the order was Devon in 8th because you couldn't eat it. Anne-Marie in 7th because it was yeasty. Timothy in 6th because it was wet. Sachin's 5th because he forgot the fruit. Sadia was 4th because the proofing was quite good. Megan was 3rd. Megan was 3rd. Mengling was 2nd. And Andre was 1st. Not surprisingly. At this point, they cut to Mengling, who showed so much excitement at being 2nd to Andre. Now, at this point of the episode, poor Andre, he's standing there. And I felt at this point the producers had been on Andre for what must have been hours. Did you proof yourself, Andre? And he's like, I'm not saying that. Have you bun better? No. And they went, you've rose to the challenge? And he sort of looked at them and relented and went, okay, I suppose you could say I rose to the challenge. I'm like, great, done. Get it, done. But I just had this image, the way it happened, it was like they've been standing there with Andre for hours going, one of them, here's a list. Pick one, dude. Everyone like has
you're on a roll.
Everyone has to do a pun.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Say today was not a day you could loaf around.
Yeah, I proofed myself. Yes. All right, so the last challenge. But before we get there,
I have got... So I'm trying to keep up with Canadian local news.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Canadian local news. Because here's Kristie.
Yes, because I've been doing a lot of trying to educate our Canadian audiences on what's going on in Australia. So, Australians, this is what's going on in Canada. Little Katie McMillan, an actor in Calgary, was just trying to get through the end of her final semester of high school when an opportunity to perform in a Theatre Calgary production was brought to attention by her acting teacher. She has now landed one of the lead roles as Little Mary in Max and Mary, a new musical. Now, this is about like an unlikely friendship between Max, who's 44 and I think has Asperger's or something, and Little Mary from Melbourne, Australia. Well, Katie McMillan, if you're listening, today's your lucky day. I can be your voice coach.
Oh, fuck.
G'day.
Oh, no.
I'm from Australia, right?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So,
Katie McMillan, if you're listening, don't.
Yes, and like, you know, one of the like people who were casting us, as she's saying, tears streamed down my face. That's how good little Katie is. So
I get that feedback too when people hear your Canadian accent. As she spoke, tears just came to me. I felt it. I wept.
So yeah, if you're interested, just give Theatre Calgary a call. The musical opens on October 16th and runs until November 11th.
It's probably a bit late for you to be giving vocal coaching then.
It's never too late, Mary. You know, it's never too late to go for perfection. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, good luck, Mary. From Melbourne. I hope you say Melbourne, not Melbourne. Okay.
So Savoury Sandwich Cake. Now, I'm going to insist, this is fucking well made up. This doesn't exist. This is not a thing. It's not a real thing. I don't care what they try to say about it being a 60s and 70s kitsch thing. This is not a fucking thing. They say the sandwich cake originated in Sweden. No, it didn't. That is a lie. That is an out and out lie. Whenever you want to pretend something was invented, it happened in Sweden. IKEA, not real. Not real. Just doesn't exist. Okay.
So Saskatoon berries made in Sweden.
Don't discuss the Saskatoon berry. My research is yet to be concluded.
Okay.
There is a documentary coming up. We are very deep within this documentary.
How deep?
My investigators right now.
You're deep in your berries.
My investigators now are very deep. Anyway, so
okay,
let's
sandwich
get into
cake.
this because this was, on one hand, it's invented. And for Bread Week, my big complaint with this is
no. There are so many like naff cookbooks from the 60s and 70s that this does not surprise me.
Okay, so first of all, they could have done bread sculptures. Like the UK did that, and that was brilliant.
No,
it was.
Look, that's fine. That's fine and fun. But when are you going to be cutting vegetables into shapes and
what? It's baking. Why should you be cutting vegetables into shapes?
Because it's awesome. It's fun.
There are other TV shows for that. There's MasterChef Canada.
So what? I like a little bit of mix up. I like a little bit of razzle dazzle in the pavilion. And
Hang on. Whoa. You consider chopping of vegetables to be razzle dazzle?
Chopping vegetables into shapes. Now, don't tell me that when you were younger and you went to the Chinese restaurant and for the first time you got carrots that had little floral shapes around them, that you weren't like, this is it. I have fucking made it in life. Like, I've never seen food like this. Mind blown.
We didn't have that.
Well,
my carrots look like carrots.
Well, you should have come down to the Sutherland Shire where we had fancy Chinese. This is what I'm saying. You don't get it. You don't get it, Buchanan.
Anyway, so Sachin made a sandwich with salami, prosciutto, and mortadella.
Yes.
Now, my only concern out of this was a phrase that Sachin used that I think needs to be banned. Can we ban the phrase meat cake?
It really does sound like a really shit nickname that some tool bag has tried to give himself down the local beach.
It sounds like a grandmother.
My name's meat cake.
No, it sounds like a grandmother who's trying to say beefcake but gets her words mixed up. Oh my God, dear, he's such a meat cake.
Yes, Grandma. He really is.
Yes, exactly. Andre, my God, this man, this amazing man. So he decided
the Andre Rieu of the pavilion.
So he decided to make a koi pond. Because of course, it's Andre. He made a piano last week. This week it was a koi pond.
He's like, this is Japanese bread.
So he made the tuna. He made tuna tataki. He made cucumber and strawberries, and then jellied salad. And Rochelle's face told a story.
It was both horror and interest and delight, but only a smidgen, just rolled into one. Like, she's like, I've seen this in the cookbooks, never thought I'd see it, let alone have to eat it as a fucking judge. So, well done, Andre.
But what we learnt later on with Andre, by the way, was that he was doing the jellied salad with acetate.
Yes.
Now, Bake Off regulars will know acetate never ends well.
Not in the pavilion. It is too unstable. Let's walk away from the acetate.
Stay away from the acetate.
Yeah.
All right, Devon. Now, Devon went with my big fat Greek cake. Lamb souvlaki. Lamb souvlaki. So look, you don't eat no cake. You don't eat no cake. That's okay. I make lamb. And so he did. Lamb souvlaki with a Greek salad and the Greek salad on top. 2 types of bread, including Kalamata olive bread.
See, I reckon he just should have gone for the full gyros, the full kebab flavour, right? He should have just pulled out the gyros on a fucking stick, just cooking that in the corner, just shaving it off, shaving off the meat to pop in the thing, and like, you know, do you want, and saying to like Bruno and Rochelle, do you want like chili, barbecue?
Chicken beef or lamb.
Yeah, chicken beef or lamb.
So Sadia made a cake that was an ode to Bahrain and an ode to her childhood in Bahrain.
Sadia,
chicken shawarma,
so gel.
Chicken shawarma and tabbouleh.
Did you know?
Amazing.
Okay, so we didn't have many like aunts and uncles that actually spoke to us growing up. So we kind of adopted, not adopted, but we just lived vicariously through other people. So like my best friend's mum, sister, moved to Bahrain because her husband's an engineer. And they were living in Bahrain, and then when they came back, I think they just felt sorry for us for not having, like, any relos. So they gave us these brass camels from Bahrain. Well,
hang on. Brass camels.
I think Mum still got them. I'll have to see.
Of course she does.
So these lovely brass camels, and I was allowed to take it for show and tell at school. And, you know, I called her my Auntie Pammy because I didn't have an auntie that I could sneak around. Well, not one that went to Bahrain, you know. Only one that would, like, peel mushrooms because she didn't understand that you could wash them.
The more we do this podcast, the more I understand your background.
Look, it's really sad. Like, I have a fucking ton of aunts and uncles. Like, my mum's got 3 sisters that don't fucking talk to us because they're all weirdos. And then Dad's got, like, not only, like, 7 or 8, like, directly from his actual parents, but like his mum popped out other kids elsewhere. Like, we've got uncles and aunts we don't know about. So there's at least like 15 people that are my aunts and uncles who don't fucking, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me. Maybe I was too demanding as a niece.
So Timothy decided to make a Chinese pulled pork with coleslaw.
I mean, as an aunt myself, you know, I love my nieces and nephews, my niece and my nephews. Like, fuck. How hard was it, you know? How hard was it just to reach out, show some love, you know? Send me a fucking brass camel so I didn't have to pretend.
So what about Timothy's pulled pork with coleslaw?
Oh, that was brilliant.
Wasn't
I
it?
actually went for an Asian pulled pork. He's like, I don't know if these two things should ever come together. Oh, Timothy, come to Australia. We can buy in the local supermarket an Asian slaw. And you know how it's Asian? Because they use Asian cabbage. And you know how you know it's also Asian? They put crispy noodles in it and have an Asian dressing.
Now, at this point, Anne-Marie had her lobster. And it was Julia, not Dan, who managed to go over and get some freebies, which was great. And that was when Julia turned around and said it tastes like maritime. So it was a lobster and crab roll. And at this point, Anne-Marie uttered the phrase, and I'm going to make a salmon frosting. And then just had a confused look on her own face, looked at the camera and shrugged as if to say, I don't know.
It's like she was in a zone and it made complete sense. She's like, I'm making a salmon frosting. And then reality hit her.
I'm making a salmon frosting.
And the arms, the face, it was all of us when we found out about this challenge.
It was incredible. So Meng Ling decided to make mall sushi because her husband likes mall sushi. And it was great because Rochelle, when the judging comes on, goes, oh, a California roll. And she's like, yes, mall sushi. It was fake crab smoked salmon and avocado. Meng Ling, again.
You think that, you know, Anne-Marie could have helped Meng Ling out and just, like, shipped some fucking crab over when she shipped the lobster.
Meng Ling, again, seemed very confused.
How do you think they shipped the lobster over for Anne-Marie? Like, was it smuggled?
I don't know.
Is Newfoundland near the Bake Off? Like, is that...
No, it's nowhere near.
Okay.
It's not even close.
All right, so who are we up to? Sorry,
So, Mengling again was confused. Because
I think we should only start mentioning it when Mengling wasn't confused.
Julia turned around and goes, will there be rice in the roll? And she goes, no, because it's bread week. And Julie's, thank you, Mengling.
Could have made a rice cake. Get it? Because it's rice.
Could have. Megan made a garden by the sea, which was pollock and dill and those flavours, which works really well. Now, phrases that you don't expect to hear are, so I'm making a goldfish out of carrot.
Yes.
That was an entree, and it looked amazing. I don't care if it didn't come off the acetate properly. I don't care if the edges didn't look brilliant.
I don't care if it was jellied
salad.
Put a hot face washer on it, you know?
If there's one thing I spend all my time putting hot face washers on acetate.
Do Canadians call it face washers though? So you might know what we're talking about. They like the little mini towels that you use to like...
Well, she did call it a face washer, so...
Yeah, but she's Australian and that's what we call it. Or flannels. I don't like that though. I don't like it when people call it a flannel. Because a flannel is what you wear.
No, it's a flannel. No, it's a flannel.
A flannel.
Not a flannel, it's a flannel.
Is that what your family calls them?
That's, my grandmother used to use the phrase flannel. Flannel. Flannel rock. Okay, so Andre was making the goldfish out of carrot. Anne-Marie still couldn't identify that the yeast smell didn't mean that it was good.
Leave the yeast alone.
She's still going, yes, there's that yeasty smell. I love the smell of yeast. No!
Maybe it's because it's so different to the smell of
seafood,
maritime.
Yeah.
Speaking of the smell of maritime, on the weekend we went down to Batemans Bay, which is this beautiful south coast place in Sydney, and oh my God, we were like 100 metres from an oyster shack, and I had 24 oysters to myself. And I made half Kilpatrick and half natural, and it was one of the most beautiful moments I've shared with you in my life, my love. Oysters. Okay, continue.
So Meng Ling was in, she put it, frosting her abomination. And Timothy's was sort of falling apart, not going well. And he's going...
Timothy's unfortunately looked like he'd gone to the sandwich bar and had just picked up the grated carrot and whatever else he could find, flew it out and just rolled his...
And then he's like, this is going splendidly. It doesn't look like it, but it really is. So, the judging. So, Sachin, they said that he put a tapenade in there.
Oh, you didn't mention Megan's.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah, you were halfway through a story.
Oh, okay. I was going to say about Megan's. I just loved it that she made the cats, and it looks so cute, and she's like, you were talking about how fancy shaped vegetables are, I think, and like, she made amazing fancy shaped vegetables, so you have to give that to her.
No, she's great.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying she was. Okay. Sachin, the tapenade was great. He put a tapenade in there with the meat, which looked really good. Look, his combination of meats, I really liked that the fact that he did that. They said it was really, really good. Timothy, they said it was well baked. It was a solid effort, but his presentation sucks and he needs better finesse.
Yes.
Andre, they said the edges needed finesse. Too much filling, which meant that it didn't hold together. So it's a bit of a misstep from Andre, not used to that. Megan's, Bruno gave her one of the best compliments I've ever heard, where he compared her knife work to 10-year experienced chefs he has working for him.
Well, it was less knife work and more like cutouts that she had.
Still, but she did her own radish. She did her own colours on the radishes.
Yeah, true.
She did all that work. And Bruno was like, yeah, I've got 10-year experienced chefs who are horrible with their knives. Your skills were brilliant. They said the flavour was great on hers as well. Anne-Marie, they said
she needed thinner bread.
Yeah. Anne-Marie, more detail was needed. There were 4 layers. They also said they were very underbaked. As Bruno said, I'm eating everything but the bread.
Yeah.
The bread was soft. Mengling, now it looked like sushi. The colours were great. And the layers had good flavours. Now, they then said to her that her bread was really chewy. What was wrong with it? Cut back to Mengling, who went, I put it on a rack for a bit, and then I decided to put it in the freezer.
Oh, no.
At which point, Rochelle looked at her and went, yeah, that'll make it gummy. Sadia's looked amazing, and when they cut it open, like the look on both their faces with that smell of the chicken shawarma.
Like when she was making it and she was laying it on and just drizzling, I think it was yogurt or whatever it is on the shawarma.
It looked amazing.
Oh my God.
Looked incredible.
Maybe it was garlic sauce. I don't know.
It looked incredible. As she said, she did a bake that Bruno said was a bit simple. So she said, I have nowhere to hide if it's not good.
Exactly.
But it was brilliant. Devon. Now, he really worried us all the way through this week. Visually, it was beautiful. And Bruno said, good bread excites me, and the bread is amazing.
And he made 2 kinds of bread.
And the fact that he did 2 textures was great. I said, however, the filling was too dry.
Which when, like, with his past 2 bakes, they've been too wet and stuff. And, like, I had the same concerns too when he's gone, oh, my filling looks too wet to put in the middle. I'm just going to... And he was paper toweling it. I think what it needed is maybe a little bit of, like, garlic or yogurt sauce on top. Should have asked chili or barbecue.
Exactly, would have worked.
Chili, barbecue, tomato sauce.
So, in the judging...
Garlic sauce, hummus.
Star Baker wasn't...
Some hummus on it.
Star Baker for me was probably between Sadia and Megan.
Yeah.
Sadia won Star Baker, and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Now, going home was interesting because Devon had been in trouble all the way through.
Wasn't even mentioned.
It was between Timothy and Anne-Marie, and unfortunately, Anne-Marie, who we know listens, and hey, Anne-Marie, we love you. Unfortunately, that smelling of yeast probably did her in the end. And it's disappointing. It's going to be sad to lose her. And again, that look tonight was everything. That just look at the camera when she said, I've
requested a GIF of it because it was spectacular.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have that up in the next few days. But so Anne-Marie goes home, Sadia Star Baker, and next week is International Week.
Ooh, wee.
We don't make it in there again.
No, because fuck Australia.
Disappointing.
We don't have a culture.
We only have a...
We don't make meat pies or anything.
We only have a really good version of Bake Off.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a packed week.
Awesome podcast in the world. I think you'll find it's called Teacher's Pet.
So that's your week.
Yes.
That was a loaded week of the Great Canadian Bake Off.
Really was. Lots to discuss. Lots to unpack. Really looking forward to International Week.
It'll be a really...
Passports at the ready.
It'll be a fascinating week.
We might go all international.
And again, the only thing we've really got in the teaser that I find fascinating in the teaser is, again, Meng Ling appears to be stuck to a cake.
Buongiorno. See?
Meng Ling apparently is stuck to a cake next
week.
Ni
hao. Yes.
So the Queen of Accents does it again, ladies and gentlemen. The Queen of Accents is here for anybody who needs any form of guidance in any way, shape or form.
Hello, Canada.
Until next week, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we'll catch you all then.
Bye.